That's not me. Not me.
I click up here. This side, right? No, yeah.
That side.
Yeah.
That side. As long as you're over 18, it's perfectly legal.
Very easy to get a date.
There are Korean boys here who are, BTS tall.
So you're blacked out on the train.
I wasn't blacked out. I just don't really recall. All right.
Hello everyone.
Hello. Itaewon Sammy here.
And Hot Choco. So yes, this is my first collab video and yours too, right?
Yeah, probably. I have a few other ones, but this one is the first one we're doing as a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, so in this video we're discussing the good, bad, and the ugly.
That's not me. Not me.
So this one we're seeing the good and the bad because I gotta stay in Korea. Can't say too much ugly stuff. But he's leaving soon, so all the ugly stuff is gonna be on his channel.
On mine.
So click up here. This side, right? No, yeah.
That side.
Yeah.
That side.
So
That side.
click up here to see his video for the ugly. But today we're discussing the good and the bad.
All right, number 1.
This is a list of bad things that I made. So number 1 of the bad is that people see what they believe on TV.
What?
People see what they believe on TV.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Excuse me!
People see what they believe on TV. So this often means when they see me, they think I'm gonna bust it down like Megan Thee Stallion. They think I'm gonna be Cardi B, and I'm not. Sorry to disappoint.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine because they would never understand.
But the good of that is it's very easy to get a date because they think that you're down.
Oh, some of the stories I could tell you on that dating. Oh, just most of you on your channel won't know me, but I used to run a club in Itaewon.
You ran like all the clubs in Itaewon. Everyone knew you.
Everyone calls me Itaewon Sammy because I used to live in Itaewon. I live in Gangnam now. My channel is Itaewon Sammy.
Yeah.
So I used to run one of the clubs there, and that club owned a whole bunch of other clubs. So I used to have parties 7 days a week at restaurants, bars, and clubs.
Before the plague.
Before the plague. And I was there for about 6 years. And prior to that, I was at another club in Itaewon. And prior to that, I was in clubs in Hongdae. So the good about, what people believe on TV and what, the stereotype is it just opens the door for meeting people who are interested in exploring culture for whatever reason, be it
Exploring you.
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. As long as you're over 18, it's perfectly legal. Well, over 13 in Korea.
Oh no, they updated that to 16 now.
16 now? Okay, I was gonna talk about that in one of my videos. But, as long as it's over 18 and consenting, but I have met a lot of people who were more interested in learning about me than they were about anything else. And it was quite an interesting experience. Just so your viewers know, I've been here 13 years.
And this marks my 5-year mark, but my first time in Korea was 2012. So in and out for 10 years, permanent for 5 years.
So I've been here continuous for 13 years. I've never left for more than a couple of weeks. Korea is my home. I'm a permanent resident, actually. So
yeah, I'm trying to get like him. A few more years to see if I get my permanent residency visa.
I got it when it was very easy to get. I got it about 8 years ago. It became much, much harder.
A lot of the visas became much harder.
And we'll talk about that. All right, number 2.
Oh, so sizes are not inclusive. If you are not size Korean, bring all of your clothes, bring all of your shoes. Ladies, bring all of your bras. They go up to like D if you're lucky. If you're over shoe size 8 or like 250 and like the other sizes. If you're taller than like 5'6" or like 160 centimeters, bring your own clothes.
Now, there are places where you can get big and tall. And it's not just Itaewon, it's not just Pyeongtaek down by the US Army base. It's not just there. You can find it on Coupang. You can find it online. There are stores because there are Korean boys here who are, BTS tall.
Which is my height, basically 175.
I've never had that problem because I'm short and not skinny but thin. I've been very lucky in that area with clothes. But the Korean style, I don't mind it. I like it. I enjoyed it. Number 3.
Number 3, so there's going to be like 1 million security checks for any financial transaction you're doing. So if you're trying to buy stuff online, if you're trying to like do a bank transfer, if you're trying to like log in, you have to download like 50 million security programs and get a special password and connect it to your phone, and they have to text you and give your firstborn son. And this, it's actually easier now than it was, say, like 5 years ago.
Yes.
But even now, I'm just like, just let me put in my password, and if somebody hacks me, oh well, that'll be a problem later. Just let me do my transaction.
And I'm doing the good. So, yes, it is a problem. It was a problem, but there are solutions, and you got to find that solution. And the solution is to find a bank that deals directly with foreigners. I work with Shinhan Bank. I've been with them for 13 years. They have an app. It's a simple app. I only have to enter my password, and then if it's a large amount, there's a key card that you have to use where it tells you to enter the number that's on this number, and you just have to enter. It's very simple. I don't have to download anything. I don't have to do anything. When I shop for coupon, it's already preset in my computer and on my phone. These days, it's a lot easier using your phone.
Yes.
So if you use your phone for online banking and online shopping, it's much easier because they use real name ID. So you connect your phone number to your bank account, to your shopping account, and it's all registered one time, and then you move forward. So what I suggest is going to the bank, to your bank. They will set it up for you.
But also, one thing that I found out the semi-hard way is that there's no calling the bank and saying,
I don't recognize that transaction.
because they have so many security checks, if something does happen to your cash that you don't know about, they're like, well, this is why we have the security checks for a reason. So somebody used your card to take 50 million Ubers. That's your problem. Like, there's not the same insurance where you just call them and get your money back. They don't do that in Korea.
Well, I did one time. I accidentally paid my neighbor's gas bill.
How'd you do that?
Because I'm an idiot. I don't know. This was long time ago. It had to be at least 6 years ago. And I don't know how I did it, but I paid my neighbor's gas bill. When I realized it, like 5 minutes later, I called the bank, and they said, take your bill, the receipt, to a branch, and they'll fix it.
I thought you said to your neighbor and ask him.
No, and they refunded the money, and I took the receipt and I wrote a note on it and put it in the neighbor's bank, in the neighbor's mailbox, said, oh, I accidentally opened your bill.
Oh, you took his mail and thought it was your mail.
It was in my mailbox, I think.
Okay.
I whatever the reason was, I paid a bill that wasn't mine. In 5 minutes, I had the money back in my account.
Okay,
It
that's
was,
nice.
and it was very easy to do. And I went to a branch where they didn't speak English, and they called the customer service line and did the translation for me. So it does work out. You just gotta figure out how to do it.
Okay, that's good, because when I didn't recognize an Uber charge, they were looking like, oh, okay, have a nice lunch. All right, so next
Number
one.
4.
Yeah, traffic and rush hour. Now, I'm from LA, so traffic is a way of life. But the 6 p.m. rush hour here, especially if you're trying to take the subway, it's like almost like Battle Royale. Like one time I was taking Express Line 9.
Yep.
And it wasn't even my train, but everyone behind me, a sea of people shoved onto the train. And I was sardined in there for like at least 5 stops before I could escape and make my way out of the sea of people.
Oh, I'm fortunate. I've never had to experience that. I do drive in Korea. I have a driver's license and a motorcycle license. I haven't driven a car in Korea, but I drive motorcycles, not speed bikes, cruisers. And scooters. And my friend who drives a car here, American friend, summed it up very easily by saying it's like a game of Tetris. If there's a spot, I'm sliding in. But the traffic here is difficult to navigate because it's so crowded. There's so many cars. The streets are wide.
Are they? Why
8 lanes on Teranro.
I mean, that's Itaewon.
Okay,
And like
yeah.
all these small side
Oh,
alleys
yeah,
that
yeah,
don't even
the-
have sidewalks.
Yeah.
Don't get ran over in Korea.
Yeah.
It's
So-
not a payout like in America.
No, it's not. But I mean, the one thing that is great, even though there is a lot of traffic, is the subway system can get you from point A to point B. There's so many stations, so many subway lines, so many
Yes.
like. But for a major city to shut down at 12:30, I still don't understand that.
I mean, that's how they keep their COVID cases not like the
No.
UK.
I mean, like pre-COVID, the subway shuts down at 12:30.
Oh, I mean, is- other
12:30,
places-
1 o'clock
other
in the
places
morning.
Don't do that. LA did that.
Canada shuts down. I don't understand it. Like, my understanding is that they got to clean it and maintenance and everything
Yeah.
like that. But 12:30, like, let's make it 2:30.
That's not because then they run back up at like 4:30. They
Yeah,
need some
true.
time to do something.
True. And the taxis need to make money too. So
Yeah, probably number one because of the taxis.
taxi union is very powerful. We should add that to the. We didn't add that on here.
Yeah, so taxis are
Trying to get a taxi,
they're low key like a little mafia out here.
like in any
one.
country. Like in any country, they won't pick you up. Now there is been stories where they don't pick up foreigners.
This happens more to guys. They'll have sympathy on a woman.
Yeah.
If you're a foreign guy, yeah, they might change the empty car sign to taken and then drive past you.
And until recently, I've never experienced that because I lived 5 minutes away from home in Itaewon, so I just used my scooter to go home. But now that I live in
We have fans.
now that I live in Gangnam and I'm in Itaewon, I got to try to find a taxi to go home. So I just hire a car and I rent a driver.
Well, you can wait. How much does that charge?
It's quite expensive.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like
He said I'm too poor. Okay.
it's like $50 one
Per
way.
ride?
Yeah, per ride. Yeah, to book it in advance. So
okay.
that's what I did for Halloween. That's what I did for, and it's a luxury car. I mean, it's so much simpler, and I don't have to stand around and 1 hour wait for a car.
Yeah, so if you're out late at night, one, try to take public transportation home if you can't. Two, you probably have to walk like at least a kilometer away from the action to try to find a taxi. Or sometimes the taxis, they're like, where are you going? Okay, $50.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get home, you
Yeah.
pay that $50
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. All right, number 5. People acting weird with you. Isn't that normal anywhere in the world?
But you see, I feel like in Korea, when people act weird with you, it's because this is related to believing what they see on TV. They watch like these rom-coms where boy meets girl, tripped, and hello. So they might like kind of look at you and then come up to you because they think, foreigners just come up to strangers all the time and chit-chat. But then it turns into like some weird interrogation where someone's like,
Hi,
Where are you from?
why in Korea?
What are you doing here?
Are you married?
Do you have a boyfriend?
Why not?
Do you live alone?
Do you have Kakao Talk?
and then you can't escape.
My favorite one. I've never really experienced that, but I was in a bar in Hongdae. I wasn't working. I was with my motorcycle club, and we have our vests. We're all big. Not me. They're all big guys. We look like a biker club, and obviously the bikes are parked outside. We're inside. Some young Korean kid comes up to me and shows me his Sons of Anarchy t-shirt. And I was like,
Is that motorcycle?
yeah, oh,
related?
sorry. Sons of Anarchy was a Showtime or Netflix show years ago, like Sopranos,
Oh.
but it was a motorcycle club.
Mm.
And it was really hella popular.
Okay.
Did I use that word right?
Hella popular? Oh, hella?
Hella?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Look I'm on flick.
Yes, you are.
Abraz on fleek.
Using using those kid vernacular. Just so you guys know, I'm 53 years old. And I don't understand this.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Hello, fellow children.
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't call you. I call you youngins. Youngins. All right.
Oh.
Okay. People acting weird with you. Yeah. I mean, I give props to Koreans who are courageous enough to come up and talk to a foreigner. And the reason behind that is, again, I've lived here for 13 years, and you got to remember, some of these people have never spoken to a foreigner. Korea's 99% Korean.
Yes.
There are no foreigners here. The only foreigners are teachers.
Well, I was never.
But
E2,
sorry,
so.
well, what I mean is,
Lord.
quote unquote, either teacher or military.
Or students.
Or students, yes. And so to communicate with a foreigner is an experience. It's like going on vacation for us, right? It's a new experience that most Koreans don't get to do. So for them to do that, I give them props, and I give them the time.
Yes.
You know, I give them the time, unless they're really like stupid. So then it's just like, that's with any human being, you know, I don't have time.
So the good with that is that it makes it easier to make Korean friends
Yes.
when they just come up to you and automatically want to be your friend because you're different.
Yes.
And then let's go straight to number 7, wet baths. So
Yeah,
this is,
you got to explain that to me, because I don't understand what this
because
is.
you know when like the shower is like in the bathroom, and when you take a shower and then the whole bathroom gets wet.
Okay.
That thing.
So wet bathrooms, yeah.
Yes.
They don't have a separate shower. So Korean bathrooms are quite small, and
the houses in general, the apartments are small.
and have you, until now, all my apartments, the bathroom floor was not heated.
Is that a thing?
In my current apartment, it is.
A heated bathroom. See, like he's living in the year 2030. I didn't even know that was
Right.
a thing.
In all of the villas I've lived in, so villas are slightly older, not apartment buildings, but they're like, you know, 4-floor, 3-floor housing units, slightly older, probably built in the 80s. They have floor heating throughout the house except the bathroom. In every one I've lived in 13 years, never had it. Now, the bathroom has a radiator, but not floor heating. The one I live in now has floor heating, and I thank my landlord every week when I go into that bathroom at, 6 o'clock in the morning. The floor is heated, so I love it. Yeah. So the bathrooms are so small, and there's no real shower. It's like over the sink or over the toilet. And
yeah, it's connected to the sink.
And the laundry room is in the bathroom.
Your laundry room?
No, not mine. But in most cases, it's in the
yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah.
So everything gets wet. But currently, my bathroom, I have a separate shower from, and I installed a rain shower. I got the landlord to install a beautiful, beautiful rain shower. I love it. Oh, it's one of the best things in my apartment.
So related to housing, in Korea we have this thing called jeonse. And even if it's not jeonse, basically you have to pay a year's rent up front for your deposit. So I right now have a 2-bedroom right next to Shinonyeon, and that thing was 30 million won down.
About $30,000
Yeah.
US.
And then you still got to pay monthly rent after that.
Yeah.
It's like we paid 2.7 million, which is like 2,500 a month.
Yeah.
After paying 30,000 down. So and that's just pretty much everywhere in Korea. Like you could find a month to month where it's just 1 month down.
Those
but
are
like,
usually office tells.
yeah. But anything else, expect to pay like a year's month of rent up front as a deposit. That's just how
Which
they
you
do
get
it.
back. Which you get back.
That you do get back.
You get back. And it's secured. It's protected. So the reason behind that is because Korea in the past, in the 80s and 90s, had a very high interest rate. They had inflation, and their interest rates was 15-20%. So people would take a deposit, a high deposit, $20, $50, $100,000, and they would put that in the bank and live off the interest. And the renter would live rent-free for 2 years and then get that deposit back and then move to another place or stay in that apartment. That was how people lived and earned money. Landlords earned money. It was a very win-win for everybody. You don't pay rent and the landlord makes money. So it was win-win. But now that interest rates have dropped in Korea, they are asking for monthly rent. But they're still keeping that chonsei because they have, what has happened is, it's a domino effect. They have those properties that they've got the key money already deposited on. So they can't just go back to zero. So it's kind of a problem. Housing is a problem here in Korea. It is an issue, but basically you can, in certain areas, pay $5,000 deposit, $10,000 deposit, and pay under $1,000 a month in rent. You get that deposit back. Okay, so there is good. It's just a different system here than what we're used to.
And right now the housing market is going crazy. Like I used to live next to Gangnam Station. I was there for 2 years, and in those 2 years the apartments went up like 30%, which is now, because I used to have a 2-bedroom right next to Gangnam Station. That was 20,000 down, 2,000 a month. Now just moving up to the next subway station that's within walking distance, it went up to 30,000 a month, and basically almost like 3,000 down. I mean 3,000 a month, 30,000 down. So that's like a good almost like 30% increase in just that 2 years.
I lived in Itaewon, and every few years I would move up higher and higher and higher to the top. And last year, 2 years ago, I was living at the very top near the Hyatt Hotel, which is a very prestigious area. My apartment was about 1,500 square feet, 150 square meters, 3 bedrooms with a view, floor to ceiling windows, a terrace where I had like 80 people, had a barbecue party, watching the fireworks. I can see the river and the mountains at my back. And that thing was $2,000 a month with a $50,000 deposit. And I lived alone.
That 2,000 a month isn't bad though, for
No,
all that.
no, it wasn't bad. It was the most expensive place I lived at. And now I live in 900 square feet, 2-room, in Gangnam, in Cheongdam, which one of the most prestigious areas.
Bougie area.
Yes, one of the most prestigious areas in Korea. And I pay $700 a month with a $10,000 deposit.
That's phenomenal.
It
Cheongdam?
is.
What?
Yes. I searched months for it. And the reason is because it's listed as a basement, but it's not really a basement.
Is it a semi-basement? Like
No, the way the house is built, it's built on a hill. So the front of the house is at basement level, sub-basement,
Okay.
right? But because my house is at the back of the building, my bedroom window is above ground. And my living room window is on the second floor. I look down from the second floor.
So is your house tilted then?
No.
It's on a-
The house is built on a hill.
Okay, so it's level.
So the house,
okay.
so the house is like this.
Okay.
So the front of the house is here. The back of the house is here. So it's like this. So the
Okay.
back of the house, I'm on the second floor. Front of the house, I'm on the first floor, basement.
That's very interesting. So how'd you find it?
I used Zipbank.
I heard that it's a scam.
No. I actually dealt with a realtor who took me to places, and every place that I looked at was legit. Every place that I looked at fit my parameters, and this was the best one. I had decision on 3 places. One right next to my office, one close to a lady friend, and one that was like a luxury place that I was looking at. So I decided on this one because of the cost and location and everything like that, and it was great. And I
So-
love it. I have no complaints.
Was the apartment itself on Jikbong, or the realtor you met on Jikbong and he showed you it?
The place was on Zipbank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give Jikbong a chance.
There's you gotta, Craigslist, Zipbang, all the other places, and knocking on doors and going around. You gotta take your time, and you gotta investigate, and you gotta research. You gotta take your time, and you gotta have the money to jump on something right away. All right.
Okay.
Squatty potties. I've
Oh,
never had to deal with that. Never had to deal with that.
I mean, this isn't as much of a problem in Seoul, but sometimes you're in a restaurant and go to the bathroom and it's a squatty potty where you have to pull your pants down to your ankles and balance, and I don't know what they do about diarrhea and splashing, and So I had to like leave the restaurant, go to like a Starbucks and like get an Americano to use their bathroom. That has happened to me one time. So beware the squatty potty.
Moving to Sri Lanka in 2 weeks, that's gonna be my nightmare because that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
Yeah.
Not happening for me.